What's going on, everybody? Happy Thirsty Thursday. Welcome to another edition of a Dangle, a Bet, a Celly, presented by PointsBet. We got the Bat Blue logo, and we are ready to go here. Of course, the show is available on iTunes and Spotify, wherever it is that you listen to your favorite podcasts. We'll put this one into that grouping. And Chris Meaney here with you, riding solo. I believe this will be my last time riding solo. You guys are, Eric is... he's missing us. He is missing you guys. He is missing this show. He is watching hockey when he can, like 15 hours ahead of us here on the East Coast, but he's doing what he can, texting me here and there about the Predators, of course, and when they played the Lightning the other day. So he's going to be here before you know it, but we're going to roll through all the 7 games here today on the slate. We got a big one, a busy one. We're going to talk about what has already happened in the NHL. Towards the end of this show, I'm going to take a look at the Week 2 fantasy hockey waiver wire. That's right. We're talking waiver wire already. What I will say is be patient with your squads, right? You got to be patient. It's very, very early. I get it. Brock Besser is the most picked up player in fantasy sports as of today. He scored not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 goals last night as the Canucks put a beating down on the Edmonton Oilers. I don't know why Jack Campbell started. Does anybody know why Jack Campbell started last night for the Oilers? What, he played pretty good in the preseason? They spent all that money on Jack Campbell in the offseason last year. I don't know. I thought they should have went with Stuart Skinner personally, but the Oilers didn't show up. Even Brock Besser, picked up in 7,000 Yahoo leagues as of this morning, is still only 54% owned. That's one thing we had right yesterday in terms of his shot prop. He put 8 pucks on the net, Mr. Brock Besser. What I will say about Brock right off the top, because he deserves some love. He had a fantastic game. He's a really good player. He's a sniper. He scores goals. He's got a history of scoring goals. 29 in his first full season in the league as a rookie. 26 year before that. He's got 4 20-goal campaigns on the resume. But unfortunately for him, he's never played a full season. And that's unfair to say because he played 74 last year. We can kind of call that a full season. 71 the year before in 2021. But he is a sniper. You know, if you told me that he was going to play 70 games this season, I'd say he'd get 25 goals. Upside to be a 30-goal scorer next to JT Miller. You know, you got Elias Pettersson, who's a baller, next to Kuzmenko as well. So the Canucks got some special going on. I mean, it's just early, but it's a new feel. Rick Tocchet taken over yesterday, or Rick Tocchet taken over last year, and then yesterday, the big game for the Vancouver Canucks. So we're off here to what I think is a pretty good start, right? We're rolling here. Appreciate you guys taking the time. Smash the like button. If you have any comments, any questions, please leave them there in the comment section. As I always say on all my shows here at FTN Network, I really am just here for you guys. My fantasy team suffers. Somebody texted me this morning is like, listen, you don't even have a defense in your fantasy football roster. I'm like, well, I'm doing shows. I'm doing content. I'm putting out rankings. I want to give good picks. I'll get to it a little bit later on. It's just a defense. It's all good. If you have any questions, I will always be around to answer those questions. If you don't want to reach out on Twitter, the X machine, you can slide in the DMs. They're open at Chris Meaney. You can leave them right here in this comment section. I will circle back on these videos. And also, meanstreetsftn@gmail.com if you want to email. So as I said, we got 7 games on the slate today. I do want to address some things that have happened already, like Connor Bedard, right? This guy he looks so good. He really does. And yes, he's been pushed off the puck pretty easily. He's only 18 years old. He's just a child. If Eric was here, he would say that he can't even get a beer at Applebee's. But what he is doing in his first 2 games in the NHL to play the Pittsburgh Penguins and the shot attempts that he had in that first game, he had 11 shot attempts, which was the most in that game. He had 5 shots on goal. He had just over a minute of offensive zone possession time. The puck on his stick. Nobody else had a minute. He had over a minute. The only player in that game as an 18-year-old kid. And you can tell there was some nerves, certainly, with Connor Bedard to start. Of course there would be. I was very impressed. And then yesterday against a much tougher team against the Boston Bruins, he was still able to put up 6 pucks on the goal. A hell of a release. I am talking a legit release. A legit NHL. If I'm ranking top 10 releases and shots, he's in there for me. He really is. It's not Matthews, Ovechkin type yet, but he's got a snipe. And the way that he toe drags in, when he comes in and he toe drags and he releases it like kind of in the middle of that toe drag towards the end of it, it's going to catch a lot of goalies off guard. He's going to be a 50-goal scorer in the NHL. There's no question about it. It's not going to be this season, but he is printing money at the moment. The 2.5 shot props that we had for him immediately. Have some fun with some ladders. We're not going to see 2.5 anymore. He's going to play tomorrow night in Montreal. It should be an electric atmosphere at the Bell Center. I was thinking about going too. The birthday's on Monday. You guys know I bleed Blue, Blanc, Rouge. It's just up the road for me. It's maybe a last-minute decision where I'm in that building, but Connor Bedard is going to be a guy that 18 shot attempts, 11 shots through 2 games, 43 minutes of ice time. A couple things I've noticed: pushed off the puck a little bit, but that's going to happen. And then long shifts, like he had like almost 18 minutes over the first 2 periods, and that's going to happen. You just get used to it, and over time, those things will change. So I wanted to give him some love off the top. Brock Besser as well, and Austin Matthews last night with the hat trick, and good for the Leafs to come back. Really, I thought smart decision by Sheldon Keefe to pull the goalie with about 4 or 5 minutes left, get that goal. And we saw it last night as well. There's another team that I saw pulled the goalie pretty early, and they ended up getting a goal as well. But the Leafs certainly stood out. The Habs, they folded like an envelope in the third period. A fun game back and forth, but the Canadians they're not any good, right? They're going to make a lot of mistakes defensively. They couldn't get the puck out a couple times, which really did hurt them. Klingberg keeps it in. Leafs score a goal. But Samsonov wasn't too sharp last night. So that was a little bit concerning to see that, because he's not going to allow a lot of rubber, but I still like him overall. If you have him, I wouldn't be panicking in fantasy hockey. He's going to rack up a lot of wins for you there. But Alex Newhook stood out to me for the Canadians on that side. He's got a lot of speed, but that was really it. Let's get after tonight. Before we do, we want to say what up to the crew. We're going to roll through all the games here. I got a lot of bets already in the bet tracker right now, some shot props and some picks. I do not have the Columbus Blue Jackets, but I could see them winning this hockey game tonight. I would give them the edge over the Philadelphia Flyers. Troy in the house. I'm not sure if you're aware, but today is Adam Fantilli's birthday. Happy birthday to the Canadian boy, Michigan product, 3rd overall pick to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Troy says he bet on him to score a goal tonight. Absolutely hammered the Blue Jackets money line. Yeah, Adam Fantilli is available in leagues. And again, like I just said that Brock Besser was picked up in 7,000 leagues, and he's still sub 60% ownership. So Fantilli will be a nice little player. I'm just actually looking at on the fly here in our prop shop. I have links inside the description of this video. I'm sure you guys are sick of me talking about it, but it saves you a lot of time and it saves you a lot of cash. And I'll really dive into different prices when I get to Jack Hughes, which is inside the article that's free over at ftnbets.com on Tuesdays and Thursdays to check out. Always a couple picks, some long shot, props in there, some goal scorers, and I think we had 4 goal scorers on Tuesday. So Adam Fantilli, if you want the birthday narrative for him to score a goal tonight, I'm actually not even seeing him pop up in the prop shop. Usually these guys pop up pretty good, but Adam Fantilli to score a goal tonight, if I was to pick a Blue Jacket, would be Line. I really like Cam Atkinson in that game today, and I'll get to Atkinson in a second, but plus 320 for Fantilli to pop a goal tonight. Not putting 13 units to win 10 units on the Blue Jackets, but Troy, we love you here on this show. Daily Handle with Jordan Allen. Hi, Means, and everyone. Welcome in, brother. Hopefully everything is going pretty good in your life. Jay North, the GOAT, is here to win us some money. Well, EY is not here, but I will try to help us win some cash here today. Brazis, morning, you beautiful people. Let's go. Woo, Bedard with his first of many to come. Yeah, absolutely. Oilers are in trouble, goalie or no goalie. They really are overrated. Being here north of the border, everybody's Stanley Cup final predictions, you guys could guess them. It's Toronto and it's Edmonton. It's Toronto and it's Edmonton. It's just, it's too much. It's like, what year is it? It's been Toronto and Edmonton for the past 3 years. It's been the Leafs for the past 5 or 6. And I'm falling into that because Toronto is the team that I expected to win the Atlantic Division, is the team that I expect to not expect, but I have them winning the President's Trophy, being the best team in the regular season. It's all about the playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers and the Toronto Maple Leafs. And it's just one game, but so far, these are the reasons to be pessimistic, I suppose, about the maybe more so the Oilers and the structure. Without Matthias Ekholm, I thought their game turned around last year when they acquired Ekholm, wasn't there. But the goaltending is a big issue in Edmonton, and it's been a big issue for what? I don't know, like Grant Fuhrer. I suppose Dwayne Rollison was good when they went to the Stanley Cup Finals in 06, I believe it was. Cujo, they had some nice goalies, but the Leafs as well. The Leafs will be, I think they're more complete than the Edmonton Oilers, but my goodness, not a good start. AS in the house, let's go. We are back, and Connor Bedard, free money. He's hockey strong, though. Are people saying that he's hockey strong? That's a thing that probably gets tossed out there. You know what I will say is, he doesn't have 18-year-old quads, right? It's not quad season like Derrick Henry or AJ Dillon in the NFL, but he is built. You got the tree trunks there, and he's definitely going to be a dedicated guy. Like his craft, he's going to own that, just like Crosby and Nathan McKinnon. These guys are always hard at it. I see in the East Coast here, running up the Citadel Hill, working hard. Drake Batherson in that conversation as well. He's hockey strong. I'll tell you what, he's got a release, and we are cashing in on his shot props. Hey guys, Emmerich, welcome in, loving it. Okay, let's get after tonight. Enough about what has already happened. This is the schedule. We got the 7 games here on the slate. We got the Buffalo Sabres at home. High expectations for Buffalo, just missing the playoffs last season. They had 92 points. Devin Levi, looking forward to seeing Devin Levi. I think, he could be the difference maker here for the Sabres, because we know that Buffalo is going to be one of the highest scoring teams in the NHL again this season. They're really fun to watch. Over 4 goals per game. Tage Thompson, Alex Tuch, Jeff Skinner, a really good line. Dylan Cousins broke out last season. They got some young pieces. I thought Casey Milstead broke out and was a solid fantasy hockey option down the stretch of the season. Rasmus Dahlin just got paid. Owen Power just got paid yesterday. And I know a lot of people may talk about the contract. Oh my goodness, Owen Power. I mean, one season hasn't. It's just, he's going to play in that contract beautifully. In a couple of years, it's going to look like a really, really good contract. The Buffalo Sabres have a lot of really nice pieces on their squad. Can they get above average goaltending to compete for a playoff spot in the Atlantic Division? The Rangers checking in here. I have some questions about the Rangers. I thought they needed to make a couple moves last year, and those moves were bringing in fossils like Patrick Kane and Vladimir Tarasenko. You need to see Alexei Lafreniere, Capo. These guys need to take that leap forward and be solid top 6 players. Blake Wheeler is on the squad now. Blake Wheeler, I think, will be a sneaky little fantasy option. I believe he's going to have time on the first power play. He's not the same type of guy like in bangers leagues 3 or 4 years ago. He was a top 25 skater. He's not going to bring that to the table. But looking at this game, just kind of rapid fire, and I will walk through a little bit. Actually, I'll just continue to go through and kind of give my thoughts overall, and then I'll have some props that we'll dive back into. So I have a lean here to Buffalo winning this game, and I do believe we'll see some goals, despite the fact Igor Shesterkin's between the pipe. We've seen a lot of goals so far. There's been a lot of overs that have hitting. There's been a lot of goals in the first 10 minutes of hockey games. That's a market that you can consider as well. It's a juiced up market, but I've seen a lot of offense. Even last night, all the games, there were goals in the first 10 minutes of all of those hockey games last night. Philadelphia and Columbus here. The Blue Jackets are a revamped squad. And the Flyers are getting some pieces back that they just didn't have last year, like Cam Atkinson. More on him in a little bit. Didn't play last season. Sean Couturier has hardly played over the past couple of seasons. Nice to get those 2 guys back. I really like Owen Tippett as a potential. I'd say he broke out last year, but I think there's really more in his game, and he's a really good option at bangers leagues. And he's a guy that, his shot props 3.5 here today, but he's a guy that, I'll definitely be taking a look at throughout the season. The Blue Jackets adding, some pieces on defense, of course, Severson and Provorov, Adam Fantilli, I say falling, and no disrespect to Leo Carlson, but Adam Fantilli, I thought should have been the 2nd overall pick going to the Blue Jackets. Maybe a rejuvenated Patrick Laine, an uptick from Kuromachenko and Kent Johnson. So the Blue Jackets, I don't really like the way that they've shuffled up their lines here today. It sounds like Patrick Laine is going to play center 1. I don't know what that's all about. That's not going to last. Maybe that's a mistake I'm seeing, but that's not something I expect to continue. Laine is not going to be the center here for the Blue Jackets all year long. They need some goaltending. The Flyers need some goaltending. This could be a really fun fantasy environment. I think we'll see some offense. I'll dive back into that one in a second. The Red Wings and the New Jersey Devils, high expectations here for the Devils. They're massive favorites at home at minus 270, and all of these totals I'm seeing at 6.5. I think there's going to be a lot of 6.5s this year, and every game here that you see on this board is 6.5. So New Jersey acquiring Timo Meier last year, and Timo Meier needing some time to get familiar with his teammates. There's more that Timo Meier can offer to this team. And it sounds like he's going to play on that second line with his countryman, Nico Hischier. And they got Dawson Mercer there. That's a sneaky DFS line tonight. I think most people will go to Jack Hughes, Tyler Toffoli, and Jesper Bratt. I'm interested in all 6 of those guys. I think, in DFS tonight, I'll have a lot of New Jersey. It'll be either, the Hughes line with Toffoli and Bratt, with maybe Dougie Hamilton or Luke Hughes, or we'll take a look at the Mercer combo with Nico Hischier and Timo Meier as well, with one of Hamilton or Luke Hughes. And, Detroit Ville Husso there's something to be said about going the other way as well. In DFS, we talked about Peter Mrazek in the opening night in the NHL. He made a ton of saves. It was leverage off everybody that was going after the Pittsburgh Penguins. Last night had Jake Allen, which was okay. He let in a lot of goals, but a lot of saves. Yesterday, my article over at FTN Daily was the save bonus. Like, Jake Allen had hit the save bonus on DraftKings, 35 plus saves, 19, I think, of like 40 of his starts. So, you may not think to start a goalie on a bad team, but it really is all about saves. Like, yeah, you want to get that win is really nice to see, but, having a guy like Frederik Andersen, for example, a Carolina team that doesn't allow a lot of rubber, if he only, George made a new one for us. If he made, say, Carolina allowed 21 shots, and last night they allowed a little bit more than that. It was a fun game. That was a really good one as well. And Korpisalo is another example. Like, he let in a bunch of goals. He still had double-digit fantasy points. But if a team like Carolina, at least are a really good example, actually, from last night. Samsonov. I mean, if you had him in your lineups, he crushed you, because the Leafs are not going to allow a lot of rubber. And if they only allow 20, 25 shots and he lets in 3 goals, your night's ruined. But I would take a goalie that has the potential to make 40 plus saves, like a UC Saros, but still letting in 3 or 4, but getting that save bonus still returns a lot of value there. Plus, you're saving a lot of cash. I don't like to spend up at the goalie position. Just a little DFS thing. I don't like to have a goalie that's over those 8.4s, 8.2s, 8.3s, 8K. I don't like to live in that range at all. I like to spend up for shooters and goal scorers. And I think some people they want to spend down on defensemen. And I think that could be a trap as well. It's nice to find that value defenseman that could block a couple shots, but ultimately you want a guy. Klingberg was great last night, worked out for us. Showed it to Kenneth Lee, went over 2 Gs last night. He's part of the FTN Daily package or family. He was writing. I think his article is actually live today at ftndaily.com. He's taking Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, and he is a lot sharper than me when it comes to DFS. He just has it going on. And then I'm going to do Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, and our guy Griff Dog will do Sundays. Let's get back into the schedule, though. Enough about that. So here tonight, Alex DeBrincat making his debut. Interested, I guess, a little bit in his shot prop. I have a fun same game parlay in that free article over at ftnbets.com that I'll dive into. But I like New Jersey here tonight to win the game. But minus 270 is tough. And I think that I'm interested maybe in the puck line here at plus 105. Maybe it's an empty net goal. They were a really good 5-5 team last season, really good at home. The Red Wings, I think, are going to be underrated this season. Again, Husso is strong between the pipes, but I like New Jersey here. And I do like Columbus at home, as I don't know if I touched on that one. Seattle and Nashville, 2 guys that worked out for us in opening night, Jared McCann and Philip Forsberg. Both guys are a touch juiced here, but McCann is affordable as a single at minus 140. I don't like to give out anything really in that range, but maybe a same game parlay with Jared McCann and Philip Forsberg. Philip Forsberg in the opening game against the Lightning had 12 shot attempts and 6 shots. He played 20 minutes. He's going to get a lot of ice time this year for the Nashville Predators. We had the prop for him to pick up a point as well, and it's something that I like, and it's at the exact same price. For him to pick up a point today. Actually, it's a little bit cheaper. Minus 135 for Philip Forsberg to register a point tonight at DraftKings. BetMGM is minus 140. He's plus 175 for an assist. Oh, this is a price that came down a little bit on Forsberg. Minus 145. over 2.5 shots. That's at DK. I'm seeing minus 175, minus 170 certain spots. Again, prop shop, right? It shows you, it's just amazing. It shows you all the books, a majority of the books anyways, and the price difference. You just, again, why would you take 175 when you can get 145 in the similar price? So Forsberg over 2.5 and picking up a point at minus 135 for Forsberg. And I think, we can go back to Ryan O'Reilly as well. A little bit juice, so we can't take the shot prop, but I do have him in a parlay. You could do a same game parlay with Forsberg, McCann, and O'Reilly if you want to. 1.5 shots minus 159. Again, can't take that as a single at 365, but you can put that into a parlay. And he is also minus 130 for a point. So those are two guys that I like. And then, as I mentioned, Jared McCann. McCann is sitting there at minus 140 for over 2.5 shots. Blues in Dallas, the St. Louis Blues, they should rebuild. They kind of retooled. I don't know. Did they even really retool? They brought in Kevin Hayes. I like Vrana as a player. It's all about that top line for them, and Kyrou and Thomas, and also Buchnevich. That's the line that has the ceiling. Braden Shen is now the new captain of the St. Louis Blues. He touches a lot of categories there. I'm not sure. Do we have any news on our guy Rope Hintz? It doesn't sound like he is going to play tonight. Let's see. He's a true game time decision, so we'll wait that one out. Jason Robertson, I got to score a goal here tonight. If I'm picking anybody on the St. Louis Blues, it would be Jordan Kyrou. I know that seems like a lame pick. He is the go-to guy on that squad. If you're looking for like a longer shot, it would be Jacob Vrana. But I like Dallas here tonight. They're a team that I have to win the Stanley Cup. I think that they're really deep. Some people say that they're old, but I don't think that, like, Pavelski's a little bit older, sure, but he still has it. Matt Duchene and Jamie Benn and Tyler Seguin are a little bit older, but that second line was a really good line last year with Wyatt Johnson and Dadonov. And I think Tyler Seguin and Matt Duchene are just fine. These guys are just fine as third line players, second power play. Like, that's a luxury to have those two guys that are potentially, and they're going to be on the second power play, and they're going to be on the third line. So Dallas is pretty deep. No Wyatt Johnson potentially tonight too. So let's not get too crazy away with any puck line stuff here for Dallas. I was thinking about them in 60 to win the hockey game here tonight on home ice, which they play really good on home ice. But if they are without Hintz and they're out without Wyatt Johnson, then we will see an uptick here, and it's going to be kind of a wait and see. Like, if those two guys are out, I will be involved with Sagan over 2.5 shots. I will be involved with Matt Duchene at over 2.5 shots. And those are two guys at the moment that you can get at pretty good prices because they're labeled as third line players. Tyler Sagan's minus 125 for a point. He's minus 105 for 3 shots. And Matt Duchene, who's going to see a decline in ice time, there's no question about it. He was the number one guy on the power play and first line in Nashville. He is plus 140 for 3 shots tonight. So let's keep an eye on Matt Duchene and Tyler Seguin and see where they fall into the lineup because they could be difference makers in DFS. And those are really good prices for Matt Duchene at plus 140 for 3 shots, and plus 160 for an apple is a good one as well. Florida and Minnesota, the Panthers are depleted. They made that Stanley Cup run and just fell a little bit short. Matthew Tkachuk is going to play. Sam Bennett is reportedly week to week. Brennan Montour and Aaron Ekblad are out for anywhere from the next 6 to 12 weeks. I've seen November to January on these guys, and there's nothing concrete there. Of course, last season, we expected Charlie McAvoy and Brad Marchand to be out until middle of November, and they came back pretty early. I remember like the timeline was Thanksgiving for those two guys. I don't have a great feel of this game. Florida does have a history of playing to overs and high tempo games, more so at home, and the Wild don't have that sort of history. They're a little bit better, 5-5. The defense is a little bit different this year with Matt Dumba not there, John Klingberg not there, and Jared Spurgeon is sidelined. So I think Florida could go in to what is a hostile environment. Minnesota is always a rocking barn, and the Wild do play good at home there. But both teams are really just missing guys on the blue line. So there is an opportunity for other guys in DFS if you're looking for something like Oliver Ekman-Larsson, number one on that number one power play, or Addison on that number one power play for Minnesota. Those two guys fairly cheap in DFS. like spending down for I said, spending down. If you're going to spend down, it's spend down for guys that you think maybe will block a lot of shots. They're on bad teams, or guys that maybe will get on the first power play. Like DraftKings, I'm convinced they don't know anything about hockey. If anybody saw last night, some of the pricing, like John Klingberg was like 3 something. He was great last night. Cole Caulfield was 4K. Like Cole Caulfield, 4K. Come on. He only had 1 shot, but he still scored. He sniped. He got robbed from another one. Pierre-Luc Dubois was super cheap too, 3 something. Man, Pierre-Luc Dubois got a nastiness to him. We saw it last night. When he gets frustrated, him and Kevin Fiala, they belong together. When they get frustrated, they're doing chippy, dirty things. How about the Avs last night, right? McKinnon gets it done. Rantanen as well, Makar. And Jonathan Drouin. We had that as plus money for an assist. Jonathan Drouin's in for a pretty nice campaign. He's got a real good opportunity to play with some big boys in Colorado. Let's see if he can hang on to that job. Back to this game, I don't have a strong feel of a side. I like I said, I think I'd lean Minnesota, Florida here at the plus money on the road. You would think with all the defensemen gone that maybe, there's an opportunity for the over to hit in this game. But I have this slight feeling of the under. If there's a guy to pick on either side, it's the Stars, right? It's Kaprizov, it's Boldy. Those are the 2 guys that are going to put pucks towards the goal. And on the Florida side, it's going to be Matthew Tkachuk. And, with some of these injuries here to the Panthers, and we will see an uptick in ice time from Sam Reinhart. Like Sam Reinhart, even though we see him on the 3rd line, let's keep an eye on what the lines look like to start, because we could see Sam Reinhart move up with Matthew Tkachuk. That's something that could happen as of right now. It's Luosterainen and Nick Cousins, Verhaeghe, Barkov, and Rodriguez. But usually I think I will be looking at the shooters and Verhaeghe and Matthew Tkachuk. But that's a game that I just don't have a strong feel on at the moment. And then Vegas and San Jose. This one could be a real lopsided affair. I have this in the bet tracker. It's a fun little same game parlay here at 10-1. Jack Eichel, Jonathan Marchessault, Ivan Barbashev, Shea Theodore, Mark Stone, Chandler Stevenson to all have a point. That is at 10-1. So all of those guys to pick up a point. I believe the Golden Knights have one of the highest team applied totals here today. They are massive, massive favorites. Of course, the Sharks are going to be, it's going to be a long season for them. They're minus 245 favorites, the Vegas Golden Knights. I like them on the puck line. VGK at plus 105, and I like them to win in 60. I think they're going to score 3 or 4 goals here tonight, so that's why I have that same game parlay. Again, that's from Bet365. It's Eichel, Marchessault, and Barbashev, the entire line to pick up a point. Stone and Stevenson on a line together, and on that first power play with Marchessault and Eichel, and then Shea Theodore is on that power play as well. So all of those guys to pick up a point at 10-1. I'll recap at the end in case this is a lot going on. We typically like to recap at the end of these shows. I also have Mark Stone and Chandler Stevenson for a point in a same game parlay at plus 130. And then you could do Eichel and Marchessault. That correlates better. I put a couple in last night that I was just waiting on Bet365. I wanted to get out there early because I thought the odds would change. I have Jack Hughes. I have the Jack boys, Jack Hughes and Jack Eichel for a point at DraftKings. That's plus 100. And then I have Jonathan Marchessault and Jesper Bratt for a point, and that's plus 167. Now, it does, if you have 365, I would go with the line mates. I would go with Bratt and Hughes, put them together. I think I had that in the article this morning. So you put those 2 guys together because it correlates. They play 5 and 5 together, and they play on the power play. If one of them picks up a point, it's a pretty good bet that the other guy's going to pick up a point as well. Where this way, where I went Marchessault and Bratt and Hughes and Eichel, you could lose both of those. You could just have the Devils guys score, and then you're not getting the parlay, or the Golden Knights guy scores, and then you're still not getting the parlay. So I think it's, if you have 365, and I love it, and I don't know a lot of books that offer this, is these same game parlays with points. I think it's just a lot. It's the way to go, because a lot of these shot props are juiced. And like I said, if like last night, Matthews, Suzuki, Caulfield, like these guys, it's just line mates and power play guys. I just wanted to get you the odds. I do have it. So Hughes and Jesper Bratt to pick up a point at Bet365 is plus 110. And then Heischer and Timo Meier playing together 5 and 5, pick up a point, plus 135. And then I have a really out to lunch same game parlay at 22-1 inside that game. It is DeBrincat over 2.5 shots, Hughes over 3.5 shots. Nico Hischier over 2.5 shots. Toffoli, Timo Meier, Hughes, Hischier, and Bratt all to pick up a point at 22-1. Let's get some plays that we think are going to hit, not some 22-1 long shots. I'm going to go to Morning Call. Whole lineup can't be 20 and 22. Dallas has a great mix. They have more guys in their prime than old. I would agree. And there's some guys that are just scratching the surface too. Like, there may be more to Miro Heiskanen's game. I think he's going to win the Norris. Cale Makar, of course, is going to be there in the conversation. Wyatt Johnson scored 24 goals as a child, 19-year-old kid. There is more for some. Robertson, Rupe Hintz, I think, is just scratching as well. There is more. Adam, since you're in here, Flyers guy, my favorite shot prop tonight is Cam Atkinson. Cam Atkinson of the Philadelphia Flyers. I am seeing plus 100 over at BetMGM. Plus 100 at BetMGM. Actually, is that? I thought I saw plus 105. No, plus 100 over at BetMGM. In fact, there's a lot of books that are plus 100. DK's minus 110, 365's 100, Unibet and Bet Rivers. Usually some decent shot props there at Bet Rivers at minus 129. But Cam Atkinson's my favorite guy here today. And he's a guy that we targeted before in the past. He's a volume shooter. He likes to shoot the puck, and he's a goal scorer. I mean, in 7 of his 9 seasons, he has had 20 goals. You can go back to the 2018-19 season when he was with the Blue Jackets. He had a career high 41 goals, 295 shots. He didn't play at all last season. He had a neck injury, so we couldn't dive into his shot props. He seems healthy, ready to go, playing on that first power play. He has, last time we saw him, you could just add up the shots over the course of the games, and it was 2.9 per game. He had 215 shots over 73 games, scored 23 goals. So 2.9 shots. That was in 2021 and 2022. And another little nugget that I forgot about, when Kyle Connor scored last night, he scored a goal in his first game, the 6th straight season, which I think is tied with NHL record Von Cournoyer and Cam Atkinson. Cam Atkinson, he's not on the current streak, but there was, I think, like from 2015 to 2019, roughly, he had a goal in the opening game. So maybe a little sprinkle on him to score tonight. He is plus 260 at Bet Rivers to find the back of the net. I have him to pick up a point as well at plus 105. That's at DraftKings. And a power play point is plus 375 over at Bet365. So Cam Atkinson. I also think Travis Konechny is in play, but he is a little bit juiced. Again, same game parlay. You could do something like Kirill Marchenko, Boone Jenner, Cam Atkinson, and Travis Konechny. It could be a 4-leg, or you could come off of Boone Jenner if you wanted to. I still like him. He's a guy that shoots the puck a lot. And Marchenko's probably a touch risky, but I do like Marchenko tonight. I have him in the bet tracker at plus money over at Bet Rivers, I believe. Yes, plus 115 for Marchenko. I thought he would open up on that first line when I made the bet last night. It does, as I said earlier, Troy, maybe you can help us out here, what you think the Blue Jackets are do, but I don't think this is a lineup that's going to stay. Like Sillinger and Patrick Line in the middle with Johnny Hockey. I think Line move over to the wing, get Boone Jenner up there, and you could do Marchenko. Maybe Marchenko bumps up, but as of now, he's slated to play with Fantilli, but he is going to play on that first power play, and he is a sniper, and he loves to shoot the puck. So that's where I'm at with Marchenko. Yeah, it's the revenge game, right? That's not why I'm in on it, but he did have his best season ever when he was a member of the Blue Jackets. You know, I'm excited for Cam Atkinson. I'm excited for Sean Couturier, for both of these guys to. Sean Couturier is one of my favorite players to watch in the NHL, believe it or not. Like, I think it was because I was in a Fantrax league where it's salary cap, and he just was like sub 5K or sub 5 million. Just a beautiful contract, and just a really good two-way player, right? Does a lot of good things there. All right, so that's the favorite shot prop for me. The second favorite shot prop would be Jack Hughes. And I know I'm not breaking any news here. We put this in last night at minus 130. And this is what I'm talking about, the prop shop. And I put this into the article at ftnbets.com, and I'll post it in the description here, is that there is just a wide range of prices for the exact same number, like in terms of over 3.5 shots. Caesars -137, BetMGM -140, DraftKings -145, 365 -150, Unibet -162, Bet Rivers -162. Clearly, we want the best price possible, and I'm still in on the 137, the 140, and the 145 is a little steep. That you'd have to put him into a parlay there. But I like the assist. I like the assist at +105 over at BetMGM and +100 at Bet365. Jack Hughes had a career season last year. He had 99 points and he dished out a career high 56 apples, 22 of them on the power play. So it was a career year for him. And this Devils team is loaded offensively. And as I said, Ville Husso's a pretty underrated goalie, but I'm going to take this every time I see it. So Jack Hughes, this was one last year that we wrote out plus money, and then it changed to like -145, and it was unbettable. But here on opening night, it is +105 for an assist. And I also like Jesper Bratt for an assist, who popped off in the spring. And you know what? In the spring, preseason, I suppose in the fall. Jesper Bratt is a good player. He loves to pass the puck, and he's just surrounded by so many good shooters. Like, yeah, Jack Hughes, I view as a pass first guy, even though we're taking the over on his 3.5 shot prop. I think he's in play for 2 points. We have the over 2.5 -130 for 2 units. We have 1 unit on +105 for the assist. We have 1 unit on Jesper Bratt +130 for an assist. But Timo Meier's a shooter. Tyler Toffoli is a shooter. There's a lot of shooters on this Devils squad. Even Nico Hischier loves to shoot the puck. So a couple power plays tonight. A really strong 5-and-5 squad that can generate a lot of offense. So Jesper Bratt for the assist, Jack Hughes for the assist, Jack Hughes over 3.5 shots. On the other side, I don't mind DeBrincat. The price has come down a little bit, as I mentioned. He would need a couple power plays, I think, to get there. But DraftKings at -135 for DeBrincat. I'll put him on the short list. That is something that I like. Again, I'll recap towards the end. You see the Sabres game there. I kind of just bypassed in terms of props. Tage Thompson's our guy. We're doing this one all the time. We're going back down the Tage Thompson train here. +115 at Bet Rivers over 3.5 shots. It's going to be 3.5 all year long, but we are in on Tage Thompson. And that's really it from this game. I like Alex Tuch. I have him in the bet tracker, Alex Tuch in a parlay. I have him with Philip Forsberg at +174, and that is from DraftKings. Bet Rivers is hanging -143, which is okay, near the cutoff, but DraftKings is -160. And these guys correlate as well, the Tage Thompson and the Alex Tuch same game parlay to pick up a point, same as Kreider and Mika Zibanejad. You know what? I'm not really feeling any Ranger. I'm just not. Mika Zibanejad is last year he was too hot and cold. I do like the price at DraftKings at -135 compared to -161, but he's not really in my wheelhouse tonight. I'm not totally feeling that one. I think that's kind of it, guys. From what I have, I'll go over them here again. Favorite one is Cam Atkinson. I like Cam Atkinson over 2.5 shots. I like Cam Atkinson to pick up a point. I'll just bring this back up, and this is how we'll roll through them from favorite to least favorite on the betting card. So Cam Atkinson over 2.5 shots and the power play, a little sprinkle on him to score. Oh, sorry. Cam Atkinson over 2.5 shots to pick up a point as well at plus money, a little sprinkle on him to pick up a power play point, and then him to find the back of the net. On the other side of that game, I'm going to lean with Marchenko as my favorite Blue Jacket, Kirill Marchenko. I think Boone Jenner is in play. And then also, I think this could be a fun little game with some scoring. I do have a lean to the over 6.5. I like the Blue Jackets to win on the money line. Think about Zach Werenski as well. Werenski's a guy that has been shooting a lot here. We didn't see a whole lot from him last season, but he's -140. In fact, I'd rank the Blue Jackets like this. Actually, all of the guys in this game I'd rank: Cam Atkinson, Konechny, Marchenko, Zach Werenski, and then Boone Jenner. That's a lot, obviously. But Cam is the guy for me. Cam's the guy over 2.5 shots. Cam's the guy for a point. Small sprinkle on the power play point to score a goal. You can do Marchenko as a solo is fine. You do some same game parlay stuff or some other parlays. You put Konechny in there and then Boone Jenner. And I think, Werenski, I think, is certainly in play for a point at plus 105. Zach Werenski for a point at plus 105. That's a big one. The Rangers and the Sabres. I like the Sabres at home here tonight as home dogs to win the hockey game, and I like Tage Thompson over 3.5 shots and Alex Tuck into a parlay. Put him in there with Forsberg, Jared McCann. Those would be the two guys I'd look at. Jack Hughes potentially is maybe too juice for you. You can put him in there, or Jack Eichel if you wanted to. But that's all I really have there. I am going to do a same game parlay with Tage Thompson and Alex Tuck. And I may do a same game parlay with Mika Zibanejad and Chris Carter. Those are for points, those four guys. The Devils, we already addressed it, but again, quick fire here. Over 3.5 shots for Mr. Jack Hughes, for him to pick up an assist. Jesper Bratt to pick up an assist. If I'm calling goals in this game, I would go with Timo Meier and Tyler Toffoli. Tyler Toffoli is my favorite Devil to attack here for a goal tonight. I like New Jersey to win on the puck line at plus money. New Jersey over the Detroit Red Wings, and Alex DeBrincat is in there as well. I'm excited to see Luke Hughes. Luke Hughes will be, I don't think he's ever going to overtake Hamilton this season on the number one power play, but it's possible. It won't work that way this time around tonight. Kraken and the Predators here tonight. I'm going to lean with Seattle to win this hockey game. Tough one for them in the opener in Vegas. There's a lot going on there, raising the banner. Golden Knights came out pretty hot, but I thought Seattle played pretty good in that game. Still a pretty good 5-5 team. I like Jared McCann, and it's really the only crack. And if I were to pick a second one, it'd be Oliver Bjorkstrand. We did have him in the Discord channel towards the end. We're looking for some late night action, and the Discord channel is awesome. Everybody's in there talking about their plays and following some picks and some things like that. So if you can, if you're subbed with us, jump up top into the chat section over at FTN Daily, FTN Bets, and get inside the Discord channel. By the way, you still have time. I'll plug it at the end. There's an early bird special happening over at FTNBets.com. Promo code Meaney. The price will jump up for the NHL betting package after Friday the 13th. So time to get in on it now. Forsberg, the over 2.5 shots. Ryan O'Reilly over 1.5 shots. And Forsberg and Ryan O'Reilly to pick up points. I like those guys to pick up some points tonight. And you could take them both as singles. The price is pretty short for both of those guys as singles. So you can do a fun little same game parlay there. Dallas and St. Louis, we're waiting this one out. I'm not there in the potential upset, even though Dallas could be missing some guys. I'm waiting to see what their lineup looks like here with Rope, Hintz, and Wyatt Johnson. I think Wyatt Johnson's for sure out. Hintz is a game time decision, and we'll see what their lineup looks like here tonight. If it isn't those guys, I will be diving into Matt Duchene. I will be diving into Tyler Seguin. Tyler Seguin typically jumps up on that first power play and the first line. So if there's no Hintz, which is very possible, we can see Sagan on that top line with Pavelski and with Robertson. This is the same old Blues, guys. They didn't do a whole lot, right? They lost their best defensive center, Ryan O'Reilly. Bennington's a sieve in net. So we got Sagan over 2.5 shots. I'm just going to put him on the board right now because I do believe that Hintz will be sidelined in this game. So we'll do Sagan. And then Matt Duchene would move up into maybe the second line. We'll see. We got to see what happens there if Wyatt Johnson and Hintz play. Blues, I don't like a whole lot. Vrana is 1.5, but he's juiced. Robertson, I like to score a goal tonight. And I like Tyler Seguin to score a goal tonight as well. And I think Matt Duchene at plus 140 is definitely in play if these guys are going to be sidelined. Florida and Minnesota, Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Forsling is guys to consider, and Addison in DFS is cheap plays on the respective power plays, with both teams missing a lot of defenders from last season. I like Matthew Tkachuk and Carter Verhaeghe. Those would be the two guys that would pick to score. But I think this game, I don't know, I have this feeling it's going to be under. I don't think we're going to see a ton of offense in this game, but I like Kaprizov. If we're doing shot props, it would be Verhaeghe and Kaprizov for me, but I'm staying away for the most part. And then San Jose and Vegas, we didn't really talk too much about this game. We gave a fun same game parlay here, but I like the Golden Knights on the puck line. I like the Golden Knights to win in 60 here tonight. And if I am picking goal scorers from Vegas, it would be Jonathan Marchessault. Always, he's our guy. And I also like Jack Eichel, but I wanted to give maybe a long shot here because we could see like Chandler Stevenson at plus 255 is pretty good. Like he's definitely has a connection with Mark Stone. Those guys connected throughout the entire playoff run. And then on the opening night against the Kraken, they were rolling as well. But I think you could, there's a lot of guys here that they're just a touch too juiced for a point. Stevenson at minus 140 is okay. But maybe think about some of the defensemen. Shea Theodore is plus 100 for a point. Alex Pietrangelo is plus 100 for a point. If you missed that fun same game parlay, I see some people jumping in right now. We'll wrap with this. Eichel, Marchessault, Barbashev, Theodore, Stone, and Stevenson for a point. That is 10-1 at Bet365. I have Stone and Chandler Stevenson for a point. That is plus 130 over at Bet365. And then if you just wanted to go with the big boys, you're not going to get as nice odds, but this is one that I'm going to pick myself. It is Jack Eichel and Jonathan Marchessault to pick up a point, and that one is plus 100, just right on the button for those two guys. Plus 105, actually, sorry, over at Bet365. I think they roll. All right, goal scorer for each game. I think I kind of did it, but this is the EY thing. I'll limit it to one goal scorer from each game, and then I'll wrap with my 5. Like he gives 30, and I think it's awesome, but I think it's a bit much to kind of just figure out the 5 that you want. So I think my favorite is Marchessault. Marchessault goal scorer would be number 1. Jason Robertson goal scorer would be number 2. Jack Hughes would be number 3. Number 4 is Cam Atkinson. I really like Cam Atkinson tonight. I think he finds the back of the net. And then number 5 here tonight would be, I'll go back to Jersey. I like Tyler Toffoli. If you're looking for more, Tage Thompson, Mika Zibanejad, Patrick Laine, Carter Verhaeghe, Kirill Kaprizov, Jacob Vrana, Jared McCann, Philip Forsberg, Jack Eichel. And if there is a San Jose Shark, I'll go with Mike Hoffman in his debut. All right, I think we did it. I think we did it. Any questions, guys? Means can DB Set get on XM Fantasy Channel or NHL Network? There is no fantasy or betting talk anywhere. Just a thought. Hey, who knows? Maybe someday. Miss EY's crazy 8 goal scorer. I think I just gave a good 8 or so, but there's no doubt he would have 35 here tonight for us. So I guess what I will say is, if you don't have 365, some of these shot props are really juiced up. So have some fun with maybe point props, because there is a little bit of value there in some of this. But yeah, I appreciate you guys hanging out. I know listening to somebody for 45 minutes go solo could be a little annoying, and there's a lot of uhs and ums in my game when I'm rocking solo. I'm very hard on myself, but I do appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out here and smashing the like button. Let's have a successful night. Let's have a good one. I feel like I didn't give a lot of sides, and that's something I usually do is I give the sides and then EY gives the goal scorers. But I'm in on Buffalo. I'm in on the Blue Jackets. I like Dallas in 60. I like Dallas on the puck line. I like Seattle. Why did I say Dallas? I like Buffalo. I do like Dallas, but I like Buffalo, Columbus, New Jersey on the puck line, the Kraken on the road. I like Dallas, but I'm not getting super aggressive. I need to see the lineup. I do think that they'll win on home ice. And I have a lean to the under in that game too. Jake Ottinger's a stud. And this one, I would say slightly into Florida. Certainly like the Golden Knights. I mean, I'm kind of chalky here with the Devils and the Golden Knights, but I'm in on the Golden Knights and the puck line at plus money and to win in 60. I'll do a little 5 minutes here for the fantasy hockey crew, and I'll wrap here. What I will say is that we'll have a free article this weekend over at ftnfantasy.com, which will dive into the best waiver wire pickups for the week. If you're unfamiliar with my work, I've been doing this for a few years. I like to look at 4-game streams. I like to really look at the schedule. It's not too early to do that. it is too early to give up on certain players. We want to not everybody is even played yet. So we're not dropping a ton of players. Like if you want to go pick up Brock Besser, you see him in your league, yeah, by all means, he should have been drafted. He's a shooter. He's a 20-goal scorer. But I like to look at 4-game streams. I like to attack the schedule. For the most part, when you're going head to head, even if you're not and you're in a rotisserie league, like the busy days are Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. That's why we do the shows on Tuesdays and Thursdays. It's sometimes tough to fit guys into your lineup, say average bench players that you have on a Tuesday and Thursday and Saturday that won't get in your lineup. I tend to move them for guys that will play on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So I get the most of my ads. So I get the maximum amount of games that I can get. So all those points, those shots, those hits, they all pile up. It's a little bit too early to do that, but it depends on your league. It could be a little bit deeper. Maybe you have a couple guys that are hurt. You put on IR plus. Unfortunately, Taylor Hall, our guy, is week to week last night. Stuck on 2 shots again. He had them early, and of course he left with an injury, and he's going to be sidelined for a little bit here. I don't know what Chicago's going to do. They may have to put Perry up on that top line, and how's he going to be able to keep up with Bedard? That's why Connor Bedard is just going to have like 8 or 9 shot attempts a game, because nobody's going to be able to keep up with him, and he's not going to pass it over to Corey Perry. He's going to shoot the puck. So taking a look at the week 2 fantasy hockey schedule, we're going to dive deep into it, much deeper over at FTNFantasy.com and some high stakes stuff as well. Arizona plays 4 games. They start the week Monday against the Rangers and Tuesday against the Islanders. Barrett Hayton is a guy that I think is available in too many leagues. A great player in leagues with hits and faceoffs as well. And he was awesome. Down the stretch of the season, the last 2 months of the season at 5-5, only David Pastrnak and Nathan McKinnon had more goals and more points than Clayton Keller down the stretch of the season. That was 5-5. Like Sean Dursey on that power play. Celly is a guy that I think we'll be talking about this season, Logan Cooley. So there's some streaming options there. And then Arizona wraps up with 2 really good games. So it's tough, of course, Shesterkin and Sorokin to start the week, but they get the Blues midweek in Bennington, and then they get the Ducks on Saturday night. So they have 4 games there. The Calgary Flames also have 4 games. Mangiapane was certainly noticeable last night. Like Mangiapane is going to get all the ice that he can handle with, Tyler Toffoli leaving that squad. But they got the Capitals, the Sabres, the Blue Jackets, and the Red Wings 4 games next week. Detroit has 4 games as well. The Blue Jackets, the Penguins, the Sens, and the Flames. I don't think there's a lot there in Detroit. Need to see, like David Perron could be hanging around, and he's all right in bangers leagues, but the guys that you want are owned. Like Moritz Seider is owned, and Larkin and DeBrincat is owned. Let's see if we can get a bounce back after the rough sophomore campaign from Lucas Raymond. We'll see what he can offer. They need more from Andrew Kopp. And JT Compher, I don't know if he's going to be consistent enough. He wasn't consistent enough last year in Colorado. I don't know how he will be in Detroit. But they do have 4 games. They got the Blue Jackets, the Penguins, the Sens, and the Flames. There's a couple teams that have 2 games here, like the Canadians and the New Jersey Devils. We're holding on to all Devils. I would hold Cole Caulfield and Michael Matheson, who picked up a power play point last night. Ottawa has 2 games. We're holding everybody. Tarasenko is a guy that I don't mind dropping or cutting. There's going to be some highs and some lows. Only played like 11 minutes last night. It was a tough spot against Carolina, but I would move on. Like 2 games, I would swap him out for Barrett Hayton. I'd rather have Hayton the rest of the way anyways. Give me the 4 games for Hayton as opposed to the 2 next week for Tarasenko. He'll have his moments. Also stash Josh Norris if you can, IR plus. Blues have 2 games as well. So only a couple games with a couple teams with 4, just the 3, Arizona, Calgary, and the Detroit Red Wings. So take a look at maybe those teams. You got a couple teams playing back-to-backs on the Saturday, Sunday, the Ducks, the Bruins, the Detroit Red Wings. So take a look at those. If you're looking for goalie streams, you can get something there potentially on that second half of the back-to-back. But for the most part, I think you want to attack the Monday, Wednesday, and Friday when it comes to fantasy hockey. Get the best of your moves and take advantage of your opponent. Lovrenski for fantasy and all props tonight. Yeah, we gave him, right? I think we did. I think he was plus money for an assist, and I think he was minus 140 for a couple shots. Man, he was really shooting the puck in preseason. I think he was among the leaders. I want to say he was 5th in shot attempts throughout the preseason. He didn't play a whole lot due to the injury, and there was some talk about him being frustrated in camp not scoring, but he's going to be fine, man. He's a good defenseman. He's plus 105 for a point, plus 155 for an assist, and plus 290 for a power play point. That, I'm going to get out of here on this. That Flyers and Blue Jackets game could be really fun, because both teams and I didn't even give this in my analysis when it came to Cam Atkinson. The Blue Jackets, I know that they're a little revamped, Troy, but they allowed the second most shots, the second most shot attempts, the most goals, and the second most scoring chances at 5 and 5 per 60 last year. And the Flyers are right there with them. And both teams, a little bit undisciplined. Especially, I think the Flyers. Flyers were extremely undisciplined. And the Canadians, too, last night. My goodness. 3 penalties in the offensive zone. What are you guys doing? Like, you can't be... you get benched for that. And when I played high school, I've seen guys, man. And I know hockey is different now. You know, you can't even tell kids to pick it up without getting a letter from the parents in Hockey Canada. Trust me, I know. My buddy coaches, and all he did in between the second and third period and a game that was like a 3-hour drive, and he was just a little frustrated that he had to drive 3 hours for a 7:30 game. And all he said between the second and third period is, guys, we didn't just come here to not try. Can we try? Let's have a good third period here and try. And 3 kids told the parents, and they complained to Hockey Canada. And then he got an email from Hockey Canada on a warning from being too hard on the kids. But if somebody on my team in high school or in junior took a penalty in the offensive zone, 200 feet away from your own net, you're taking a seat on the bench. And St. Louis may have to be a little bit disciplined. You can't be taking these penalties. Like, take a penalty to prevent a goal, but be taking a penalty, a tripping penalty, a holding penalty, a hooking penalty in the offensive zone. Same old Canadians, right? See some people jumping in, but we're out of here. We got to go. We got Mean Streets in a half an hour. Got to get some start and sits. I got to talk some Thursday Night Football with the prop god. George is sitting there. He wants to go. Like, he's like, come on. He's going to give me a bunch of start and sits. Like, come on. I'm waiting around for you. Wrap up. George, good sport, man. He hangs out with me all these shows, listens to me daily. I don't know how he does it. He always makes this show look so good, taking the time. Look at this. He takes the time, even before I got on. I know it was a couple minutes late, but he took the time for like a single overlay here, puts a little bat in there for me. It was awesome. It was awesome. Do we have...
what are you doing? What are you doing?
Nothing. Me? Just hanging around.
That was every Edmonton Oiler last night. Pierre-Luc Dubois, at least he got in there, got a little feisty, but that was every Edmonton Oiler last night, or maybe Brad Marchand. More people popping in, but we're out of here, guys. Hit me up if you have any questions. Rolled through game by game. We have the free article at ftnbets.com. Reach out. Leave the comment section, smash the like button, rate, review, subscribe. Do me a solid. Maybe we will get that show on Sirius XM if we get more eyes on this. And the early bird special wraps up after tomorrow, over the weekend. And if you miss it by a day, hit me up. I'll hook you up. Promo code Meaney. Save yourself a little bit of cash, and you can get all picks across all sports from everybody over at FTN Bets. If you're looking for the monthly package, ftnbets.com/pricing. It's going to be a rough night, I think, Lee. Rough night. But enjoy your Sharks. Go Sharks. EY will be here next week, and we'll talk Dangle Bet Celly. We'll have a fantasy hockey league, and our guy George is going to be in it as well. Have a good one, guys. Cheers.